So here we are. It's nice to see all your faces again. It's been a very long time. Uh,
Yes,
how how are you all doing?
Good,
good.
good. Mhm.
Good, good, good.
Fair to
Hanging in there.
Midland. Fair to
Yeah,
Midland.
yeah,
I usually say I woke up.
yeah. That's right.
I'm pretty good.
Wait,
Hi,
wait.
everybody. I'm pretty new. This is my second
Hi.
time. Hey.
Welcome, welcome. So as usual, we take conversation or questions and comments. So who would like to begin with your questions? It's been a long time.
So yeah, Jim, I started my first experience with anxiety disorder 7 years ago.
Hmm.
It was during a hurricane here in Miami, Hurricane Irma,
Mm.
and I recovered. It took me about 3 years, um, but then every ever since after that, it's been like on and off. I had some bumps, here and there. But then 2 years ago, I left my job of 10 years to a new place, and
Hmm.
the place was not what I expected. I'm still working in that place, very stressful. But things are getting better. But when I first started, it was highly, highly stressful.
Hmm.
So then recently, about 3 months ago, I got extremely overstimulated. I would say maybe moderate to a bit high.
Hmm.
But I've worked on my strategies, and I used to have 24/7 dizziness, couldn't concentrate. It was very difficult to concentrate, even driving and all that. But I was able to muscle it through and, um, you know, continue to do what I was doing. I did have to take a few benzos in the beginning, maybe like a
Hmm.
week of it. I do work with Larry. He's great. Um, and I would say that from 3 months ago to now, I don't have any physical symptoms at all whatsoever. I worked on my strategies. I do my deep relaxation. I am a believer. I do, trust in the Lord, and I seek the Lord in prayer. So I've been using a lot of that. Just recently, what I've been experiencing is a sense of dread, emotional symptoms, um, just a constant kind of dread. And if I can rate it, it could be between a 2 and a 3. At a worst, it's between 4 and 5. Um, but that's it. That's where I'm at right now. I guess my question is, how much more time would I have to wait so those feelings of dread can diminish more?
Um, how much work have you done on your underlying factors?
Well, that's another thing that I'm working on. I'm also working on how to react less, underreact to challenges, situations. Even at work, there's my boss's boss, Larry and me, we call him the tyrant.
Mm.
He's a very harsh person. Before, when I first started, I used to have panic attacks every time I had meetings with him. But now it's completely, I've been very intentional in desensitizing myself with him. So on purpose, I've been seeking time with him, and I just calm myself down and just finding humor in the way that he's acting.
Mm.
So I've been doing a lot of that work, um, underreacting. I've even taken this experience and tried to practice underreacting to even normal life challenges, like
Mhm.
financial challenges at home with the kids. I have 2 kids. So this time around, I'm like, okay, I do need to work on my underlying factors. I do need to work on how I respond to life and to challenges because we all know this can start with one thing and then it just ripples over to everything else, like your family, your everyday challenges. They seem
Yeah,
more dire, which they're
yeah,
not really are.
yeah.
I also went through my grandmother. She has dementia and she's like
Mm.
my mother. So I also, during this period, that was a big stressor. We're looking for a home for her to live.
Mm.
So that also has been part of the stress. that picked up. But I'm being very intentional this time around on working on my underlying factors.
Right. Yeah.
People pleasing, having things perfect. I'm trying to be more intentional because it just ripples over. It just goes over.
Yeah. Yeah. And why I asked it is because that is going to have a bearing on how fast the body can recover and if it can complete recovery. Because even though we do our physical recovery strategies, if we're still experiencing stress from interactions with people or a stressful job, like you talked about, well, then that stress is going to keep there. It's going to sort of bubble into the surface, which means it can prolong recovery, which is going to affect how long you can recover. So, for example, if you have good boundaries, recognize that when someone like a boss is treating you disrespectfully or is an aggressor, having really good boundaries can help insulate yourself from that person's behavior, which is going to make the recovery process much smoother. So,
Right.
in terms of how long it's going to take, a lot of that's going to be have a bearing on terms of how your underlying factors are and how well you've done with them. Boundaries are great. I think right across the board, anyone who's recovering from anxiety disorder should develop good boundaries because a lot of our anxiety comes from interpersonal skills, right? Interpersonal relationship skills. And so if we struggle in that area, a lot of source of our stress is going to come from there. So we can be working on our physical strategies, day in, day out. But if a lot of our stress is still there, you see how long it's going to take. So that's why going after those underlying factors can really make a world of difference.
Yeah. And also a lot of like thoughts and just coming in, coming out. And then I started experiencing that dread feeling. But I've been very intentional. One Skype session that I really found very helpful was with Stacy and yourself. It was on discomfort.
Mm,
So I'm teaching myself to be okay with the discomfort.
yeah,
That yeah, this sucks right now. Yeah, I may not be feeling like my old self, right? But it's okay. I'm okay. I'm safe.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm working through it. I'm being intentional with it. I do recognize that things have gotten better. I don't have any of the physical symptoms. It's more just emotional, a little bit flat too. It's really hard to engage at times with the people around me and stuff. But I'm still there, right? I'm not shying
mhm.
away from what I have to do. I'm present with my children, with my wife. I'm just pushing through in that sense.
No, good for you. Yeah, you've done a
So
lot of
I
work, which
did
is
notice,
great.
yeah, yeah, which I've seen a lot of drastic, like 3 months ago, it's like night and day.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind too is we don't want to feel like we're stuck in a job and we have to endure. Sometimes with my clients, if they have good boundaries and even though they have good boundaries and they have good self-esteem, sometimes working with an ordinary boss is just stressful. And so what I always say to them is, there's a lot of ways to make money. A person doesn't have to stay in a job that's creating a lot of stress, find all alternatives. That doesn't mean we quit, right? It's not like we're not perceived as a quitter. It just means that, let's look for an environment that's way more conducive to a calmer lifestyle because we aren't stuck in any one particular. We have a lot of choices to make. So consider that as well.
Yeah, at the same time, it's not really my direct boss. My boss is great. It's just he's a bit more harsh. He has probably maybe a year and a half left of retirement. Um, I'm just trying to teach myself to be okay with it
Mhm.
and I do put boundaries. I do whenever he tries to put an unrealistic deadline. I do put my boundaries.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
speak up. So I mean, where I'm at right now is just I'm learning to deal with this challenge. I am applying other places, but
Mm.
I'm here for now,
Yeah.
and just trusting in God, and also being a Christian. I also recognize that sometimes the Lord allows things like this to mold your character.
Yeah. Totally.
To rely on Him and trust in Him, and um, it's just I guess the process. We don't like the process, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No one likes the refiner's fire.
That's
That's for
right.
sure. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good for you. If and
Yeah,
oftentimes too, the Lord will put us in situations where He thinks our behavior and the way we approach people can rub off on others. So, there's another way to keep stress down is realizing, okay, God has me in this place for work, and I'm going to do that work, and I'll manage what's coming my way in a healthy way and pray about it, and 'cause that can also keep stress down. One main
right,
thing for anxious people is to not take other people's behaviors personally. We're so
mm,
used to doing that. And if we realize, okay, I'm not responsible for that person's behavior. He can be gruff, but that's not a reflection of me. That's a reflection of him. Can also help
yeah, that's
to,
where I'm working at. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's a good way to keep that, as we call it, plexiglass insulation between us and others in place. So we're not worrying
yeah,
someone else's bad behavior. Yeah.
yeah. Also, another thing that has helped me a lot is to behave calmly, even though my
Hmm.
body at times doesn't feel like it's calm, but I'm like, hey, behave calmly. You're okay. Relax. In due time, my body will follow.
Yeah.
So I do apply. It's like I like to use this comparison. I have a dog, and when I take him for a walk, he goes crazy. But if I apply the containment strategy, right, and just hey, hold on, come on, just relax, calm down. No, 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 no. So that's where I'm at in that sense. I'm trying to for that to be second nature to me.
For you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Learning to underreact is so important to bring hyperstimulation down. The less reactive we are, the less stimulated the body becomes. So those are good things to practice on for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your question. Hope I was able to provide an answer.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.